Welcome to Monday Momentum on Communicate to Lead. I'm Kele Belton, and if you're a woman in leadership ready to step into your full potential, you are in the right place. This March, for Women's History Month, I'm highlighting 5 women whose leadership has completely changed how we think about courage at work. Today, we're starting with Brené Brown, the researcher and storyteller who put vulnerability on the leadership map. In the next 5 minutes, I want to pull out one idea from her work that can change the way you show up this week. Brené has a line in Dare to Lead that I come back to all the time. She says, it's not fear that gets in the way of daring leadership. It's our armor. And if you're anything like the women I coach, you know exactly what that armor looks like. It's when you're in a meeting and you actually have a clear point of view. But you start with, I'm not sure if this makes sense, but, or this might be a dumb question, or you shrink your idea down to a quick comment instead of giving it the space it deserves. On the outside, it sounds polite, humble, even flexible. On the inside, however, it's self-protection. It's you trying to stay safe. And over time, that armor teaches people to expect less from your voice than what you're really capable of. What I love about Brené's work is that she doesn't shame us for having armor. She says, of course you have armor. You learned it for a reason. She also says you can't lead from inside of it. So let's bring this down to the day-to-day. Think about this last week at work. Where did your armor show up? Maybe you soften a strong recommendation into, we could maybe look at this later if you think it makes sense. Or maybe you over-explain your reasoning because you were trying to convince everyone you had done your homework. Or perhaps you stayed quiet altogether and then beat yourself up on the way home. These are all normal, by the way, and they are all different versions of armor. They don't mean you're not a leader. They mean you are a leader who's still protecting herself. So here's the tiny Brené-inspired shift I encourage you to play with this week. Instead of trying to rip off all your armor all at once, I encourage you to practice one sentence at a time. I recommend. That's it. When you are meeting and you have an idea, notice the armor phrase that wants to come out first. I don't know, this might be nothing, and gently swap it for, here's what I recommend. You don't have to speak louder. You don't have to become someone different. You're simply sending a different signal. You're saying, I'm in the arena here. I'm willing to be seen with this idea. And that is very different from tossing a half apology into the room and hoping someone else will pick it up. So your experiment for this week is simple. Pick one meeting, just one. Before you log in or walk into that room, decide, if I have an idea, I'm going to start with, I recommend, or here's what I see. Not all day, not forever. All you have to do is for one meeting. And afterwards, ask yourself this question. How did that feel in my body? How did people respond? What did I learn about my own armor? And that's a wrap for today's episode. If this landed for you, you are not alone. Thousands of women leaders listen to the show every month, and so many of us are working on dropping the same armor. If you want more practical ways to do that, hit subscribe or follow. We're staying with Women's History Month next week as we look at Ursula Burns and how she used sharp, data-driven communication to lead through crisis. And if you're ready for support beyond the podcast, you can join the waitlist for Ignite Your Leadership Power. The link is in the show notes. Brené Brown reminds us that leadership doesn't happen when we're perfectly put together. And I love this. It happens when we are brave enough to step into the arena with the skills and the courage we have today. Drop one piece of armor this week. Use I recommend. See what changes. That's your Monday momentum. I'll see you on Thursday for our full deep dive episode. Until then, trust your voice and lead with confidence.